for those of you watching and playing this format and following its metagame, neither of them is playing gates. Well, there might be some gates in the decks, but they're not playing. There's no Gatebreaker Rams, no Gate Colossus, no Guild Summits, no Gates Ablaze, none of those shenanigans. Get out of here. It is time for Risen Reefs and Cauldron Familiar to show who's boss. Not sure, I always forget who people are. I don't stream enough. Who's Lanoir? Okay, who else is lurking in the chat? Let's have a look while our players keep shuffling. Atten, Gankero, Lanoir, Mania Craigs, Nasty 6969, 6996, no, Ruby, Shadow 3, sorry, and Win Sock. Okay. For those of you that know what's going on, you know what's going on. For those of you that don't, this is a Gentry match. It's a budget version of Standard in Magic the Gathering, but I'm assuming you know it's Magic the Gathering because that's the name of the category we're streaming under. Ian taking a mulligan here, going down to 6. For those of you that know them, Alan has been somewhat of a poster child for Gentry, started playing with the community, graduated into the regular competitive scene, has been playing a few Magic Fests, but always kept coming back to the base, always has been a very prominent figure in the Gentry metagame. Ian, in the meantime, he's like the fluffy mascot. He's always sort of around and he's always sort of performing really well, but when things get serious, seems to have some issues wrapping things up. So seeing him in the final here is a very good thing, and I hope to see him perform. I hope they're not waiting for us to say they can start playing. Yeah, that looked like they were waiting for us. And let's switch for the overview perspective and get into the finals. I don't know why I just did that. And we have Duress. For Ian, Alan is on the Teferi's Time Twist version of the deck now as well. Used to play Biomancy, the bounce and pump spell in this slot. But this seems to be a very underwhelming hand for him. With just, well, he has Trailblazer into Neo form for Risen Reef, but the Neo form has been taken away, which makes this a very top deck sensitive or depending hand with not much in the way of forcing advantage. Neoform, one of the most important tools, really ties the deck together and is usually used to find the Risen Reef. 2-drop, Leafkin Druin. Always funny to see Alan play a Leafkin Druid. Hey, the boss, say who is here? How are things in Sweden? Anouk is happy to see you there. I guess we should flop Anouk onto the screen. Wave to Sweden.
I was waving. I'm waving already.
More waving. I can see you waving. It's just funnier this way. All right. She made you come join in. Yeah. She's a little stalker when she starts.
What?
All right.
Huh?
Okay. Back to the game. Ooh. Thrill of possibility. Discarding Priest of the Old Gods. That's a very strong indication that you probably should play a different rare if you start discarding them on an empty board to draw actual uncommons. I think you need a different rare then. I used to play that one as well, and it was one that I very quickly cut. Cloudkin for Alan. Really living off the top of his deck there, as I said he would need to, but getting the tools he needs to make an impact still. Mayhem Devil is a card that you usually don't want to expose to your opponent, but Alan's elemental deck is extremely focused to his presence on the board, which means that usually these decks don't really play any removal outside of their Omnot. Oh, Trailblazer and Cloudkin coming in, pumped by the Trailblazer. So Alan trying to push through as many damage as he can before things inevitably will get wiped off the face of his planet, off the face of his planet. Sure, Ian has, I think he has Firstborn, Steal the Firstborn, and Heartfire in hand, which means that Trailblazer and the Cloudkin can get removed at any time. Yep, Firstborn. On on the Trailblazer, but instead it gets Teferi's Time Twister to protect it, but that just prompts Ian to play another Mayhem Devil here. His hand is Cauldron Familiar and 2 Heartfires. So Cauldron Familiar into Heartfire to kill the Trailblazer and the Cloudkin still neutralizes the board and leaves Ian with 2 3/3s on it. So he'll gladly eat this, I'm guessing 6 damage, because he knows that he will be boss of the board next turn. There's another Time Twist there, though, to keep things a little healthy for Ian. Ooh, and a Scorching Dragonfire. That's very welcome for him to keep parity. Christmas shopping spree in the shop is a real thing. Had one day off. Sleep is highly overrated, and if I can believe your kid, listening to me on stream puts you to sleep anyway. So, Cauldron Familiar. Can't type anymore. Cauldron Familiar. Kitty Cat steals some life. I'm thinking Ian is trying to catch Alan without Time Twist up here, but he will have to pull the trigger at some point. Since that Trailblazer and Cloudkin combo is posing a real threat. And now he has the pump available for the Trailblazer. Blocks with the Familiar. Heartfires. Sacrificing the Familiar, yep. So pings there and deals 4 damage to the Leafkin. Alan rescues the Cloudkin, sacrifices the Leafkin. Ooh, and gets a Crusher as a follow-up. And all of a sudden, through Alan's timely play and patient play with those Time Twisters, it's not called Crusher. I always forget what it's called. Crasher? Why is everything called Crusher or Crasher? Oh, too many. There we go. Thicket Crasher. So suddenly Ian is looking at an actual board with actual threats. think pretty sure there were sequences there that would have led to more interesting results for Ian. Alpha Strike is met with a block by Ian, offering the trade, but the Trailblazer has the ability. So Alan is trying to figure out what might be the response that Ian has to the activation, because otherwise, no, allows the trade and takes the fact that he'll be doing 9 damage on top of this. Ooh, and a Cavalier of Gales. That's probably going to wrap up the game here. So yeah, and Ian scoops them up. Alan expertly maneuvering around the options that Ian had to influence the board here. Ian struggling a little bit to get the elements of his deck online, but we see here why it is so important to this deck, the elemental deck. I mean, then to have that interaction on the board. So sideboarding, Ian has a bunch of threaten effects that he can bring in. Where is Ian? Ian's here. So he's bringing an extra act of treason in for sure. And Cosmotronic Wave might be an option just to have extra answers to the Risen Reefs, just like Bake Into a Pie, the extra Heartfire. He has a playset of Scorching Dragonfire to bring in, which will be pretty relevant against Alan. And then Alan, what is Alan bringing to the table? We have... Where is Alan? Alan is bringing out of the sideboard Cosmotronic Waves as well, not that relevant. Healer of the Glade, I don't think that's coming in either. Negates and Return to Natures, that might be something he wants in to fight the Ovens, and Unsummon could be a tool as well. We've seen the Time Twister there do very, very good things, and Unsummon does mostly the same things. So that looks like Ian is bringing in the Scorching Dragonfires, but I also think I saw something black there. Maybe the extra duress. I didn't catch what Alan sideboarded, or how many cards Alan sideboarded. But there's a judge call. Apparently there's an issue up there. And our players are shuffling up for game 2.
Ian's in the list. He forgot how to sideboard.
He forgot what he needed to sideboard, apparently. That's quite embarrassing. You're leaving. Bye-bye. So Ian reading his own side, his own deck list just to remember what he should be siding, which is awkward because it's game 2. It's not really that relevant anymore. Let's hope he played with the legal deck in game 1, because there's no way of verifying that at this point. Alright, 12 viewers. Let's see if we have any new faces. Boxy is here supporting his roommate Gankero. Jonabemint is in the chat room as well. He'll be back here tomorrow to head judge the Belgian nationals in Pioneer and Modern Horizon, which will also be streaming. So if you like the setup, if you like my annoying voice, definitely come back tomorrow. Yuri is here as well. Catherine, Kyle, Lanoir, Maniac Rex. Welcome everybody. I said hello to all the rest. Virgo Pros is here as well. I keep wondering if you're a bot or a real person. We already found out today that one of our suspected bots is actually a real person. And Windsock, same story. If you're not a bot, please be heard in the chat so I know I can call you out in the next times. Yuri, welcome. Meza, not a bot. Misa, sure. I know Seiwu is not a bot. He's let's call him the uncle of Gentry, at least when it comes to Sweden. And I think we are ready for game 2. Alan, through a pretty expert play with Teferi's Time Twister, secured the first game, and they have now sideboarded in this final match of the Gentry competitive leaderboard. And Alan down to 6 cards. Ian opens with Swamp Pussycat. Cauldron Familiar comes out to start his shenanigans. Meow. That's it. Don't expose you. I'm sorry. J-Class is a bot. Ay. Everybody knows everybody here. And everybody knows who's in the chat, but not me. Ooh, Oven Cat assembled on turn 2. Alan should have his Return to Natures in his deck at this point. So he will have options. He also has those Scorching Dragonfires ready, so if Ian does make a mistake, gets a little bit too greedy with his cats, then he might lose them to a Scorching Dragonfire. That should never happen. I mean, any red mana, any deck that keeps up red mana and has 2 available is just telling you they're about to ruin your day. He has a second Oven in his hand as well, and chose not to cycle the cat, so is aware of the option. Has a Spark Harvest, and I'm not sure what the red card is, but there's a second Oven there to really ruin Alan's day. Now this is a slow grind for sure. And as long as Alan keeps up those 2 mana, Ian will be a bit hard pressed to cycle too aggressively. Food goes away, cat comes back, steals more life. And then untaps. I think it's better to just cycle, use all the uses of your Witch's Oven, but not bring the cat back, because it does the same amount of damage as doing the attack here, but also puts your life total up by 1. There's a Cavalier of Night in Ian's hand though, so as soon as he gets another land, that's going to be an interesting card. Cloudkin Seer, Alan taps out. So that's an extra activation Ian will force out of that cat. If he top decks a land or a devil here, that'd be huge. The Dragonfire, it's not really what the Dragonfire is in the deck for. Third oven does mean that clock is picked up. Alan pointing in disbelief at what is going on here. 3 ovens. And Alan going onto the offensive, but will be losing at least 3 life each turn. If a devil shows up, that's going to be a very, very quick clock. And again, there's a Risen Reef for Alan. Time to race back, he says. Let's see if he can grind out the triggers. Gets a Leafkin Druid as well. But in response, scorches away the Risen Reef. 3 activations of Cat for Ian. Puts Alan down to 13 already. And that's the 4th Witch's Oven. So that gives us a 3-turn clock for Ian. And Alan is just like, yeah, sure. Cat comes in, Druid blocks, nothing happens. And Ian still has Spark Harvest and a Cavalier in hand to do more. Cloudkin Seer keeps poking back, trying to control the life gain. Second Cloudkin Seer. Hello, Champion of Gentry. Hello, Zeresu. I'm not sure who you are, but you are very, very welcome to our chat. It's always nice to have people around. And Ian keeps not using the 1 activation, which makes him miss out 1 damage here, because the 1 damage from the attack isn't going to be relevant. Ah no, there was 2 mana untapped, so he had to lose the 1 damage.
Yes. What are the archetypes of the decks in the finals?
Neoform Elementals versus Rakdos Sacrifice. Okay, Creeping Trailblazer. So Alan is mounting an offense. I hope the fact that Ian is being a bit extra conservative won't be coming back to bite him in the butt. But he still has that Cavalier waiting in the woods. Come on, Ian, you can activate the 4th one and just always bring it back in your own turn when you untapped already. That works. Now demonstrating the combo in the separate activations for some reason. Yeah, brings it back. Puts you to 8. Now you sacrifice it again and you just leave the food on the board. Scorching Dragonfire. In response, I think might need a judge soon. In response, no, not a judge needed. I was afraid they were going to respond to an activate as cost. Alan requesting that Ian do it separately. That's why we reround the shortcut. And I think this made Ian realize he can use all 4 of the activations if he doesn't want to attack. So I think Alan accidentally helped Ian realize that his deck can do even more. It's Jack. I came here hoping to get away from cat food decks. I'm very sorry about that, Jack. Cat food decks are actually the the cure to a problem we've been having in Gentry, which was Gates decks that are using Gates Ablaze, Gate Colossus, Gatebreaker Ram. But yeah, cat food. It's an uncommon based combo, so it's very much playable in Gentry. No surprises there. Simic Crusher of Gates. Simic Flash is also growing, but it struggles quite a bit with some of the other decks. But yeah, we had a Simic Flash bubble out of the playoff rounds here. So Ian needing just one little bit of reach and draws a shock. I think that is just that little twang of reach that he needed, and he can go for the equalizer here. So is he going for it, or is he afraid something weird might happen? Start off with the shock just to make sure that there's no negate, and you should have the game here, Ian. Rakdos Cats. Rakdos Cats is cool. Junt Cats is pretty cool as well. And Ian is playing it correctly. Shows the shock, and Alan good enough to know what's coming after this. 4 cats jumping in and out of ovens. Well, 1 cat's jumping in and out of 4 ovens to be technically correct. And that is 1-1 in the finals. Alan on Elementals versus Ian on Rakdos Cats. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, you know what I mean. I have no clue what you're talking about. My brain is pudding right now. I'm in a very sleep-deprived state. You need to spell things out for me. It's that happy Viking, but very sweepy. Niels, you said. What did I say? What did I say? I did something wrong. That's Sleepy Viking, yeah, for sure. Do this and you win. Yes, that's true. That is true. Crack, crack. Oh, everything's breaking. I'm falling apart, chat. Send help. Okay, I caught on. So again, as well, for the people who are here right now, tomorrow we're going to have a pretty much an all-day stream of the Belgian National Championships in Pioneer and Modern Horizons draft. Should be a lot of fun. Should be exhausting, so if you want to see my brain turn from mashed potato into jello pudding and what kind of effect that has on my already lacking intellect, tune in tomorrow. Should be loads of fun. Dylan, kan ik je die kabel geven? Die moet daar niet liggen. Ik was die kwijt. Ik hoorde ze net zeggen, een USB-kabel. Alright. Mashed potatoes. Yeah, they're coming out of my ears right now. So, game 3. Yeah, there we are. Games are shuffling up for our players. These are our champions in the finals. Alan on the left, Ian on the right. So if you have a lack of intellect, what is your view on normals? The normals they're so smart, man. Like I know this Fridland character. He's pretty crazy intelligent. You should meet him someday. Alright, and we are ready to go for the last game of this edition of the Gentry Competitive Leaderboard. And we're starting off with a mulligan for Alan. God damn it, I thought this... yeah, you should, man. Okay. Down to... I hope Alan's not down to 5. I think he magic the shuffling game. Yeah, I hear good things about him too. Yeah. Is he putting one card down? Okay, so he went to 6. We didn't miss an off-camera mulligan. That's a bit of the problem with the side view, is you don't always see if they're doing the mulligans and how many of them. Okay, Alan on the play, down a card, 1-1, the decider. You heard something about the statue. Chat's getting silly, and we have a pussycat. Cauldron familiar. Drawing first blood. Ooh, Scorching Dragonfire as the instant answer from Alan there. Pretty big deal. And we have a Footline Fiend. Probably would have led with that if I had it. If I had both of them in hand. I see 2 Spark Harvests for Ian. Who draws the Witch's Oven that would have kept his cat safe there. That's really unfortunate. We're getting a statue of this Fridland person. It's probably a very salty statue. Okay. Made of salt. Okay, Liefkin for Liefkin. Ooh, and we have Sir Conrad for Ian, his innovation. That is the one-off spiciness that Ian put in this deck, making the cat combo 3 times as scary, at least. As, unfortunately, there's that cat is exiled because that's a Cavalier of Night. I hope Ian realizes his cat was exiled. Ah, no. So sacrifices. Tries to kill the Risen Reef with the trigger. And fails. So no, realizes the cat is exiled, and Conrad will be triggering quite a few times from here on out, and Alan is now the one who has to answer. Ooh, he has triple Scorching Dragon. No, it's a Scampering Scorcher. I think it's all Scampering Scorchers, and he has the Risen Reef now. Alan's really excited, knows that he's about to start running away. No, first there's a second Risen Reef. So the first time he'll play a Scampering Scorcher, it will be for 6 triggers there. That's going to be huge. So unless Ian can raise the board right now, it's going to be bad. There's a Footline Fiend, so that at least solves one of those. Sacrifices the Footline Fiend to kill the 2/2 Risen Reef, pings the 1/1 Risen Reef. This is huge. I don't think he realizes just how big that next turn was going to be. Spark Harvest and Footline Fiend coming in clutch to control the board here, and that means we still have a game going. But with that Sir Conrad and a Cavalier on the table, Ian is very firmly in the driver's seat of this finals game of the final of the Gentry leaderboard. As we see, how will Alan fight back? He has the 3 Scampering Scorchers in hand and 1 blue card. It's a Cloudkin Seer. He's digging for an answer here, but I'm not sure what he is even hoping to find. Cloudkin Seer gets a trigger, draws a card. Draws a card. A Neoform would give Alan a lot of options. What did he draw? I can't really see. Reprint counterspell for Gentry. No! No, Essence Scatter is good enough. No, Essence Scatter. Give us Essence Scatter. Okay, Scampering Scorcher without a Risen Reef on the table. The value, the aggro, Scampering Scorcher. This is desperation mode pretty much for Alan. Keeps 2 chump blockers back, attacks for 5 and is looking at a swing back with a 4 powered life linker next turn, as Ian will be capable of killing Alan off just the activations of Sir Conrad already. And then there's the Witch's Oven, and then there's the top deck, which is an irrelevant card, but that's okay. This version with Sir Conrad really wants to have a Sanatorium skeleton, just 1, maybe 2 in there. Did the Rakdos player get life last turn? I'm not sure. I'm not paying attention. Let's see if he gets his life link on this swing. There'll be a double chump block here. Tap tap. Yes. So he is gaining life, but is he taking life? What's the wording on Sir Conrad? Is it creatures or creature cards? Maybe we'll have to send... No, we don't need to send the judge. It's a creature, not a creature card. The judge is sitting next to me. Every time I say something, it's like... But we're doing okay. Dead Revels... gets milled, Cavalier of Flame gets milled, Trailblazer gets milled, and with each creature hitting the graveyard, the elemental player is dying. Alan on the verge of death. Not sure why he's sacrificing. To bring back a creature. Footline Fiend, sack the Footline Fiends, pings him. Activation of Sir Conrad, the trigger of Sir Conrad, and Ian wins with the new deck in the metagame. As surprising as that might sound to some players that are used to seeing the more standard metagame, Rakdos manifests itself as a solid player on top of the Gentry metagame, together with 4-color gates, with red, blue, second draw, spells, whatever variant you want to play, with elementals. They are now number 4. They are Cat Oven combo, be it the Rakdos more aggro version or the Junt version that aims to grind you out. These decks are real, and they're a very different way of playing the game. We also saw Simic Flash coming in strong again and showing that it can really control and limit a game, keeping people honest while they beat down at a moderate pace. Everybody, you're welcome. I enjoyed casting these games. This was a bit of a warm-up for the National Championship tomorrow, so I hope I'll see some of you back there as well. I had
Spoilers for Nationals.
Spoilers for Nationals. We have sheets with pod numbers. Apparently this is a spoiler. There's a heart on there because Anouk made them. Who will be judging there as well. So see you tomorrow. Hope you have a good weekend, have the good evening, and thanks for all the fish. I don't know. Do I have a view of my face? Hey, there we go. Something nice to say goodbye instead of watching an empty table clear. Yeah, have a good evening and take care. Be happy. Be Vikings. Take care of each other. sleep early, drink water, wear sunscreen, wear comfy shoes. You know, the